All right, the next video is this video is going to be standard 3A, which goes over the review for transformations. So, number 1 says identify the transformation that we see on this image. This is going to be multiple choice. So again, how do we get a 4 here? We have to be able to accurately graph and identify all types of rigid transformations here. So we're going to be doing, not only we're going to be doing reflection, rotation, we're also going to be doing the translation, where we have to move a figure and also state the rule. So here we go. Number 1, identify the transformation. Okay, is it a reflection over the x-axis, which would be over here? No. Is it a reflection over the y-axis? Yeah, it is a reflection over the y-axis. Why is it a reflection over the y-axis? Why? Because notice, it's not going to the right, it's going to the left, right? Because A becomes A prime. A becomes A prime. This is going to be the image. So A becomes A prime means it's going to be flipped over. So A would be right there. If this was D and D prime, then it would be moved left. It would be moved left. But in this case, look at the letters. The letters show us that it's been actually reflected. All right, number 2. Number 2 says identify the transformation from A to D. From A to D. Okay, right away I can see that it's definitely been rotated. But let's confirm. Let's just double check if it's true. So we're going to trace from the origin. Let's do a crosshair. And super carefully trace figure A. And let's see how many degrees it's been rotated. So our original is facing up. Let's just make sure to keep track of that. Okay, it's going to be rotated. Let's just double check. Yeah, it's only rotated 90 degrees. So every single one of these rotations, every single one of these corners is going to be 90 degrees. And this one shows us that from A to D, it's only been rotated 90 degrees. Which way? It's been rotated to the right, so another way to say that would be clockwise. How does the clock rotate? Right? The clock rotates to the right, so that would be clockwise. And that is the correct answer. Okay, number 3. Number 3 asks us to reflect triangle ABC over the y-axis. Okay, over the y-axis. The y-axis is this one, so you can label that if you want to, x and y. The x and y axis. Okay, we have to reflect it over the over the y-axis, and we have to label it A prime, B prime, C prime. So let's just quickly do that. So C would stay the same. You're welcome to use patty paper here as well. So I'll show that now. Carefully tracing, we're writing A, B, and C. And if we reflect it over the y-axis, which we can trace right now, if we reflect it over, that allows us to flip our paper over and see that it would be right here. Okay, so we can trace that. C prime's right there. B prime, I should use the trick that Claire showed me here. Go through the paper and it will be B prime right there. And A prime, you can go through the paper. If you write really hard, you can actually go through this patty paper. Let's see if that works. Yeah, that would be A prime. So we'll trace it. By the way, feel free to fast forward. If you're faster than me, fast forward this video. Okay. So A prime, B prime, C prime would be right there. Okay, it says then translate B prime, C prime, which is this one. Translate this guy down 4 and left 1. Then we have to label it A double prime, B double prime, C double prime. Okay, so that means we're going to take this reflected figure and we're going to move down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we also have to move it left 1 unit. So that would be right here. A double prime, B double prime, and C double prime. A double prime, B double prime, and C double prime. Let's draw the triangle for that. This essentially would be our final answer, I believe. Let's just double check. It says reflect it, then translate it. Okay, we did that. We're done. Now we have to label the coordinates or write the correct coordinates for A prime. So A prime is going to be 4, 4. B prime is going to be right here, 4, 1. C prime is going to be right here, 0, 1. A double prime, which is this one, is going to be 3, 0. B double prime is right there, 3, -3. And C double prime is going to be over here on the left. So left 1, -1, down 3, -3. So -1, -3. And those would be the correct answers. Okay, let's move on to number 4. Number 4, write the rule for the transformation shown at right. So this is definitely going to be a translation. The only rule that you'll need to write on standard 3A is translations. So let's see, is it been moved left or right, up or down? Let's view it. Okay, so let's just focus on one letter. You can focus on, let's just say, K and K prime. Now, which one is prime? Let's zoom in here so we can see it. The prime one is this one, meaning this is the image. So we are actually moving up and to the left. How many units up are we moving? Up, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, up 4 units. You can double check with the other points here. But it's also just moving only 1 unit to the left. So remember, to write the rules for translations, we remember that X is left to right. It's horizontal. And Y is low to high, down and up, also known as vertical. So since we have X, Y, all we're looking at for this is going to be how does the X move? If it's moving left, we're looking at horizontal. We're going to say left 1 is -1. For the Y value, since this is our X and this is our Y is going to be how many units up or down has it moved? The vertical movement. So since it's been moved up 4, we simply would say +4. So of course I can just remind you, this is the rule for the answer. You have to include X and Y. You're not going to just say -1 and +4. You have to say X -1 and Y +4. But just to remind you, if it's to the right or it's up, that's going to be positive. And if it's to the left or it's down, that's going to be when it's negative. So those are our answers. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. That was standard 3A.